I'm just waiting for this to get started. Okay, so somebody, nobody talks about Temple OS, but somebody is talking about if you change colors, a pointer might get messed up. Search for, I think that's me talking. You can save fonts. What disturbs me is I think this person is confused about text mode. Maybe I need to do a big graphic splash, because everybody thinks, well, it's kind of natural, but there is an actual text mode. This is not text mode. This is 640 by 480. I designed it so that it will, if it fails, in theory it might not have this mode. That's a really bad PC if that happens. If it fails, it will. Let me show you actual text mode. Go make OS install boot C. Drive C is the current drive. We are going to mount some drives. So we're going to mount C and D, probe P. It's hard drive number 4. Okay, that's all the drives we're going to mount. Disk cache, we're going to use the default. Now these are options. We're going to do text mode. Okay, so now the configuration is for text mode. So we're done. So we just compiled the kernel for this drive C. Normally we do a RAM reboot, but as a matter of fact, we need to go all the way back to the BIOS, because the RAM reboot is a shortcut that doesn't always work. Well, most of the time it works, but if you're changing modes, it needs to go we're going to do a total reboot, or an actual reboot. There, rebooted, and this is my bootloader. I'm going to hit drive C. Okay, so I wonder how this is going to look on the video. Okay, so now this is text mode. You can see that it's different, but it's almost fully functional. If we go to the menu, Control M, none of the graphics appear, and if we play games, none of the graphics appear. But it will write to bitmaps. The problem is the bitmaps can't be placed on the screen, so the games will. I think most other operating systems, if you did graphics in text mode, they would crash. But if we do like this room, if I hit F5, so it's amazing how so it's kind of a so we need Control Alt A. If we design a new IBM PC, we need to choose the 256 characters that are, well, actually these, we don't have to support text mode. I can remove text mode once it's recognized as God's official temple. I can remove text mode and save some lines of code. So it's totally irrelevant. I was going to say we want the VGA ROM changed, but we're not even, no, we're not even going there. Does that make sense? We are going to change the, okay, I'm going to change it back. So make OS install. So I want, this is like a make all. I tried to be friendly to Unix. Make, what is your problem, eh? I'm trying to get my cheat sheet, my autocomplete. Make OS drive boot. It's god awful long, but it's, what does this do? This recompiles, it does a make all, and then it patches the boot sector with the address of the new kernel. That's the way you have to do it. So C, we want to do C and D, probe. Actually, we could have just used defaults. Let's do that. Oh, never mind. 4. You can do this at home. Okay, so now we do a total reboot. Go back now. VMware needs to fix their crap. It wasn't always broken. And what's wrong? Can we please get the sound fixed? Okay, you need to fix that. I do want a little distortion. Let me tell you what I want. I have a, well, here's what, let's do this. Have an adjustable distortion knob as part of VMware. And what the heck, add a reverb. Add a reverb. We don't want to get too carried away. Technically, that means that VMware will offer more than a native installation. That's kind of not good. The native is supposed to be the ultimate, isn't it? Because, well, God said one audio voice, so that means one frequency at a time, is what I think that means. Reverb improves the quality a lot. I have code that will generate the waveforms. If the VMware people need some help, that's ridiculous. It's easy. Anyway, I had it working with HD audio at one point. I can export sound files with the current setup, and they sound reverb and all. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the text mode. I'm going to get it's going to happen over and over. Everybody thinks it's text mode. I kind of have to explain to them. Now, while you're here, I might as well tell you I just burned a new version with a change. Let me see, how do I explain this? Do you know what page tables are? Well, let me tell you what. I don't know how to explain this. So this is the memory map right here. So these, as it turns out, there's an array that converts addresses to physical addresses, and it's actually a tree. It's a tree of arrays. That's called the page tables. The way I had it before, VGA memory was special, and what that did is it made one extra level in the tree just because of that. The screen graphics memory forced me to use an extra level in the tree, and it was kind of ugly. I did a different approach that uses all the same level of tree, but it's not perfectly identity mapped anymore. So now there's, for example, let's say that you have an address, something like that. That now maps to A000. So now if you want to access the VGA, you have to do it at that address. So that's kind of bad, but it makes it so that there's one less level of tree. It makes it so that there were 4 levels of tree, and now there's just 3, and it's faster and it's less code. So by the time I changed all that, it saved like 60 lines of code. Not that much, but it's pretty hard to save 60 lines of code. So now people are going to be really confused. They're going to come in here. Not only are they going to think it's text mode, but they're going to start writing to the address of VGA, and it's not. It's going to be. Do you want to know what the problem is? The memory is cached, and so what that means is when you write to it, the CPU has no reason to update the video memory. It's cached. It's do you know what that means? That means when you write to the address, it's stuck until it gets pushed out of cache, which it doesn't always happen. Anyway, so just wanted to go over those things. So it's a pretty cool. I'm very happy with how much nicer the code is. It's a pretty neat update. I had to add. So before I had the. I didn't. Sometimes I used a label, but in the past, in my demos, I used the raw magic number A00. The whole industry, at least the older people, they all remember that address, A00 and B800. The old people used to know these numbers, and now it's kind of bad that we don't have those numbers, so they don't understand what's going on. So I added a text VGA alias. I added a this is the This address is the new address of, I could write to it, but it wouldn't show up. I could. You want me to do that? Memset, comma, let's say A5 640 times 480 divided by 8. And before you do anything else, do a busy wait for 3 seconds. We have preemption turned off, so I think this will work. Okay. So I wrote to the memory. Now there's actually a command to deal with this situation. Control-Alt-V. That flushes the. That's another cache. That's my. I made that cache. Anyway, so just clarified that.